Sooner Nation, Longhorn fans, welcome to episode 188 of the Boomer Bevo podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, it is the Oklahoma 2025 football season preview. That means we are less than 2 weeks away from seeing the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas kicking off the 2025 season. We do have live football this weekend between K-State and Iowa State and a bunch of scrub schools. I still think it's weird that K-State and Iowa State are going to Dublin, but whatever. Are you excited to get the season started? Or are you apprehensive?
No, man, there's nothing to be apprehensive about. Let's go, man. We're ranked number 1 in the country. We're ready to do it.
I am incredibly anxious about this season. Now, we're going to talk about this, and I'm feeling confident about picks and how Oklahoma's going to play, and we're going to talk about their roster and the changes they've made and the changes to the coaching staff and all this kind of stuff. But it doesn't change the fact that I am very, very anxious about the outcome of this season.
There's a lot on the line for the Sooners this year. I mean, a ton on the line.
Well, yeah, I think so. And a ton for Brent Venables, right? And I think we're going to talk about it, whether it's a make or break season or whatever. So we'll just get into it. We're going to kind of do the same format that we did last week with Texas. Let's go through some storylines coming out of fall camp and, just kind of around the program right now. Then we'll break down the roster a little bit as needed. And then we're going to pick the schedule, Kevin. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to pick the schedule and come up with what Oklahoma's going to finish at in the regular season. Sound good?
Man, let's do it.
All right, storyline number 1, very similar to the University of Texas. It's at the quarterback position, and it's one John Moneyline Mateer.
That's good.
Thank you. So, look, dude, I hate to say that the season hinges on John Mateer, but the season hinges on John Mateer, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and number 1 rated quarterback, actually number 1 rated player in the transfer portal. He comes to Norman, and he's got a lot on his plate this year, right? I mean, the offense for Oklahoma last year was historically bad, and he's been counted on, along with his offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, to just completely flip that around. And like you said, the defense was good last year. Offense gave you nothing, and that has to change this year. So, yeah, kid has a lot on his shoulders. But he's a talented player, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
I think he's a talented player. I think he has experience. He has experience in the system. You're exactly right with Ben Arbuckle. The most critical hire of the Brent Venables coaching experiment at Oklahoma was hiring the right offensive coordinator. Because last year he clearly hired the wrong offensive coordinator.
Correct. We talked about our concerns last year. I know I certainly had them.
Yeah, well, look, we didn't love Jeff. We felt weird about, but they were a top 10 offense with Jeff Lebby.
Correct. And at least we knew what they were trying to do.
Yes, they had an identity. And then you go into a Seth Luttrell offense with, no concept of what they were trying to do. They didn't know what they were trying to do. You saw glimpses of it. Alabama, maybe it's the only glimpse of us, what it could have looked like if maybe they would have owned that game plan a little more, right? Because you didn't really see that against other schools.
No, watching Oklahoma play most of the season, I wasn't sure what the identity was. There just never was one. And, obviously having all your receivers injured didn't help the situation any. But even, with the guys you did have, there was just no rhythm, no flow, no identity. It was tough to watch.
Okay, so remind the listeners, Ben Arbuckle, is this a strictly air raid Mike Leach derivative, or what should we be expecting from an offensive system called by Ben Arbuckle?
Well, a lot of air raid principles, right? And really that's wide receivers going across the middle of the field is a big part of that. But also, I think you mix in some downfield passing with that. And the big difference is with Mateer, you get the quarterback run aspect, and you get the design quarterback runs, and you get his ability to scramble and make plays outside of the pocket, or just to take off for yards when the play breaks down. That's the difference between his offense and a traditional Mike Leach offense.
I think about Lincoln Riley, if I can say that with a straight face without going off onto a rant of how terrible a human he is. I think of Lincoln Riley when does Arbuckle's system, I mean, we just got Jaden Ott, and we're going to talk a lot about the transfers. We're going to talk about the running backs. But between Ott and Arbuckle, is this going to be an opportunity? I mean, I'm sorry, between Ott and Mateer, is this going to be an opportunity for Arbuckle to try to control the ground game a little bit? I mean, can we ground and pound with this type of offense?
Well, honestly, based on my impression of the Oklahoma receiver room right now, I think that's your best option. Is to win games by running the football. And then you use that to set up some downfield shots on play action. But I think your biggest strength right now is your quarterback and his ability to run and your running game. So you really have to lean on that. Also, there are some questions, right, about the offensive line. So I think run blocking typically for offensive linemen can be a little bit easier than pass pro, especially if you don't have elite talent out there at tackle, which you have some young guys who we'll get to. But I think for your more experienced players, I think running the balls is going to be the greatest strength of this team. It has to be.
Does that indicate then a lot of RPO? Because we saw that with Jackson Arnold, and it wasn't good. When we gave him a decision to make, he made the wrong one just about every time. I mean, is that what we're looking at? I guess I'm just trying to. We talked about identity. Stafford Trail didn't have one. What should Oklahoma fan expect to be Ben Arbuckle's offensive identity? Like, what should we expect to see in a game like Illinois State where he's going to be able to do whatever he wants? What will it look like? Do you have an idea?
No, not really, but I would guess, you want to establish a running game. You really want to get your running back going. You're not big time get for Oklahoma in the transfer portal. You want to get him going, and you want to just see the timing with John Mateer and his receivers. You really want to see that because, like I said, the Temple game, you were there last year, right? Yeah. Despite the blowout score, it just never looked right. Even that game, you can get fooled by the score, but it just didn't look right.
It was the ugliest 51-3 game I'd ever seen.
Yeah, just the offense just not a rhythm. You have some big plays to Deion Burks, right? You could see that, but just the timing, the rhythm of it, time of possession wasn't good. It just was way tighter than it should have been, right? I think.
I remember walking out of the stadium and turning to my wife and going, that wasn't good. Like, I'm not being over dramatic OU fan. That was not good. So you're right. It's a matter of what we see on the field. I do think we need to get the run game. You talk about the offensive line. Let's just hit on the offensive line here. This is a good segue just in kind of the offensive line. There's questions, but the questions aren't the same ones that were being asked last year. So last year is, who the hell are we going to get to play anywhere on the offensive line? Because everybody was hurt, and it was a cluster similar to the wide receiving room. Where this year, we've got healthy bodies, and we have a lot of them. Projected starters, I'll just go through them real quick. Left tackle, Jacob Sexton, saw a lot of playing time last year across the line. We think he's most natural at left tackle. Eddie Pierre-Louis, left guard. Troy Everett, who got a lot of run last year at center. Fabechi Nwaiwu. I'm sorry. Fabechi, you got it at right tackle. And then Derek Simmons, the transfer at right guard, which is all indications are this. I saw this. This is coming from our lads. This is coming from a number of articles online. I don't pretend to be an insider and know who's going to start. I'm just making the commentary here that it's interesting that we're counting on a transfer that's barely been at the D1 level. I think Western Carolina's D1.
I'm not sure, but honestly, are you concerned about Jacob Sexton being your starting left tackle?
No.
You're not?
No, I think he's grown a lot. I think another year under Beat and Bo. I actually feel pretty good about it. I think this is a more natural position. You know, he played a lot of guard last year, and he was just kind of in weird spots. He is not the concern, at least for me.
I think I would be concerned about some of the guys that he'll have to face in this conference. Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart. These are guys you're going to have to play. I think it's just a matter of time before Michael Fasusi is your starting left tackle. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts week 1. I know I've heard something about him having a heat-related injury at practice yesterday. I don't know what you know about that. And hopefully he's okay. And hopefully that's not serious, because
I don't think it's serious, and the reason I don't think it's serious is because nobody's melting down over it.
Okay.
Right? I've been on Twitter most of the day. I've been listening to KREF, the Ref Army, most of the day. There really hasn't been a meltdown situation. Listen, you were outside yesterday. It was god awful hot.
Absolutely.
It's August, and we know that, and it's god awful hot. I think the dude probably overheated. That's fine. I've got Fasusi as 1B at left guard because I agree with you. Like 1A for Sexton and 1B. Like he's right there.
Left tackle, right?
I'm sorry. What did I say?
You
Left
said
tackle.
left guard. Okay, just making sure.
Left tackle. I've got him right there behind him, and then the other one that's going to push is Foji pushing Nehwu. I think you could see Ryan Foji. People love that guy.
I think you roll with both of them.
Day one. Well, why not? Right? This is Illinois State.
Why not, man? I've been talking about Fasusi for months now, right? I'm still upset about it that Texas didn't get him. He was somebody that we really, really, really wanted. And I think he has that type of talent where he can be a day one starter.
Well, you will see him against Illinois State.
Yeah.
So we will know. The question that needs to be answered is what I think your real starters is who we roll out against Michigan in week 2.
Yeah.
Because that's big boy football. That's Big Ten D linemen that highly recruited. They're winning recruiting battles against Ohio State and Penn State and Nebraska and all of those Big Ten schools. So I think Illinois State, unlike your matchup against Ohio State, it's a warm-up game. It's a preseason game. We can afford to roll some guys out there. We can go every other series with some guys, type thing. I'm not worried about Sexton. What I meant to say is I'm not worried about Sexton, and Fasusi makes that position. It brings out the competitiveness, which I think is a luxury that Oklahoma did not have last year.
Yeah, I got you.
Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Because we were lucky to have 5 starters last year. And now we're saying, hey, Foji could push somebody that got a lot of playing time. Fasusi could push somebody that got a lot of playing time. Maybe Fasusi starts. Maybe Foji starts. Maybe they both start. Either way, then that means Sexton's my backup right tackle and Nehwu's my backup left guard. I'm sorry, left tackle and right guard.
Yeah.
And so either way, though, you see what I'm getting at, right? It's
sure,
like
you
already feel better.
There. You have more depth there than you did last year.
We feel better. I was looking at the depth chart. Like Logan Howland is like third string. That dude started games last year.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's gotten better because he was outclassed last year. He was not in a position to be starting for the University of Oklahoma on the offensive line, and it showed. What I'm getting at is, God willing, we feel a lot different along the line, which I think helps the running game. I think it helps Mateer. We can't think, Beatonbow hasn't forgotten how to coach. I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid and feel good about the offensive line. It sounds like, though, you're a little nervous about it. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
I would be a little bit, just because, again, you want the most talented players out there. I would feel more comfortable with Fasusi starting, at least going into SEC play.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
just because normally I wouldn't say that, but I think he's that talented. Right? Like, now, I don't want to throw a Kelvin Banks comparison out there because he was different to where he was just ready. He showed up. He wasn't even there for spring ball for Texas that year. He showed up in June and was a day one starter. And then, we talked about this before. Went against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and 4 first-round guys that year and didn't give up a sack to any of them. He's a special, special player. But I do think that Fasusi has similar talent. Now, will he be ready right away? We'll see. But I think he's so talented. And with the injury to Sexton, right? I think he's had a concussion. I think he's had a couple before that. So he's been out. I believe Fasusi started your last scrimmage. So with him out there, I think he's showing what he can do. And if he's holding up, I'm just saying, don't be shocked if he trots out there.
Well, look,
And I don't know the insides of your program but when you have a guy that's talented,
if he's holding up against R. Mason Thomas,
yeah,
then he can hold up. R. Mason Thomas, look, the SEC is stacked with defensive ends, so it's really hard to say that R. Mason's a top 3 or even a top 6 D end in the SEC.
But we know he can play.
But he can play. He had 9.5 sacks last year.
Exactly. We know he can play. So however you want to rank him.
However you want to rank him. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody out there or him either. There's a chance he could be the best by the end of the season. Whatever. We'll see how that ends up. But if Fasusi can block him, right?
Correct. If he can hang against him, then he can hang with most guys in the SEC.
Here's the next biggest storyline for me, Kevin, is still at the wide receiver position, and it still comes down to injuries. And we get what we think is a really good transfer addition with Giovanni Gibson. We think we're going to get Jaden Gibson back from a horrible injury last fall camp. And yet neither of those guys are available at this point.
If I was an OU fan, this would be the biggest concern really on the entire football team.
Is wide receiver?
Yes. Yeah. If anything holds the offense back, this is what I think does. This position here.
Well, what do you think? Okay, so when I look at the depth chart, I'm seeing Deion Burks, of course. I'm seeing Isaiah Satania, the transfer from Arkansas.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And then I'm hearing the true freshman Elijah Thomas.
I've heard good things about him too. But
that makes
freshman, you just never know.
It makes me nervous when I hear a true freshman.
Yeah.
That wasn't a 5-star. He's not coming in even as highly ranked as Ryan Wingo in Texas, right?
No. Wingo was a 5-star.
See I think he could be good. I hope he is good, but I still don't feel 100%. We've got Zion Kearney there. Ivan Carrion still there. There's some guys, and we think Deion Burks is that dude if he can be healthy. I think with every wide receiver, you have to add if he can be healthy at the end of it.
Correct. And even with Burks, right, we know he's explosive. We know that, but we haven't even seen him play a lot because he was hurt most of last year. Remember, he had the weird injury, and it's like, he'll be back next week. And then he'll be back next week. He just was out almost the whole season.
And then he finally came back to play against Missouri, and he was out because he got a concussion or whatever.
He got a big time.
And then he had a big time video where he recommitted to OU right before the transfer portal hit, and then he didn't even play in the bowl game, which I just thought was weird. Again, this isn't.
It was the whole thing was odd last season with the entire room, right? You had players leaving, allegations of mishandling of injuries by the training staff, specifically with that room. It was bizarre. It was one of the weirdest things I've seen.
Look, I think Emmett Jones can recruit. I don't think you can blame Emmett Jones for last year, especially on the injury front. But, man, he has got to develop these guys that are there. Zion Kearney, Ivan Carrion, the freshman, keep Deion Burks in positions to be successful, somehow figure out a way to get one or both of the Gibsons back, which looks less and less likely, at least early in the season, right? I'm not seeing a lot of smoke there.
I mean, if they haven't practiced at all during camp, you don't expect them to play anytime soon.
Who's most likely to step up in that room, though? Is it Satania? Did you like Satania at Arkansas?
I thought he was pretty good. I think just maybe by default, he might be the best receiver that you have because I consider Burks more of like a weapon than a true receiver. But again,
like a poor man's Percy Harvin?
Yeah, like that. You just get him a ball on screens, or he can also run the slot fade, which helps a lot, right? If they put him in the slot, he can beat a safety just on a straight go route, and you have the quarterback that can hit him.
Right.
Hopefully you guys call that this year. We didn't see much of that. I was expecting that. But again, he got hurt so early in the season, we really didn't even get a chance to see what he could have truly been. But I think Satania will probably be a guy that will lead the team in catches, if I had to guess right now.
You would pick Satania over Burks?
Yes. To lead, yeah. Now, Burks will be your big-time playmaker. He'll have probably more touchdowns and just more big plays. because I think the scheme will be to get him in space. But I think just when you need to pick up yards, I think Sategna will end up being the go-to guy. Just because if you look at, I'm looking through the receiver on the roster now, and I think he just has the most experience
Right.
at the position. Now, again, you may have somebody who can show up and be that guy, right? I mean, we didn't know Xavier Worthy was, we knew he was talented, but we didn't know he was going to be that dude until, I mean, now you can't, we heard he was making an impact, but, until you get on the field, you don't know. So maybe one of these.
I mean, we're hearing that from Elijah Thomas.
Again,
people are loving this
Maybe
kid.
he can show up and be that guy.
I hope so. I agree with you. It's the biggest question mark on the whole team. And it's just a lack of knowing who these guys are. And we're still just so snake bit from last year.
Yeah, it shows you how quickly things can change, right? I mean, you just think about a few years ago, just the abundance of talent you guys had at the receiver position.
What about a few years ago, Kevin, August 1st of last year?
Yeah.
Kevin, August 1st of last year, you had Nick Anderson, Andrell Anthony, Jaleel Farouk, Jaden Gibson, Deion Burks. Like, that was your wide receiver room.
Yeah.
And I was making an argument that that's as good a wide receiver room as there was in the SEC last year. We'll never know.
They never saw it. I mean, what did you get? 2 snaps from Nick Anderson last year? The Tennessee game?
Yeah, and apparently he should have never gone back in.
Clearly. I mean,
yeah, clearly.
Was it the first drive, right? He was out.
Listen, you want to add some anxiety to my plate in terms of what I expect from this season. The anxiety that he's going to ball out at LSU just makes me want to. Oh, my goodness.
If him and Byron Sharp both ball out at LSU, I mean, my goodness.
I have zero fear of Jackson Arnold balling out at Auburn.
Okay.
You
just don't think, you don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening. And you've heard you know how you talk about you typically only hear good stuff coming out of camp. We haven't heard anything good coming out of that camp.
Neither have I. And the whole thing with Auburn, it just seems so weird. You see them claiming more national championships?
Well, this doesn't have to be about Auburn, but yes. Okay. They're claiming more national championships, which whatever, on top of that.
Yeah, we know what we saw.
Yeah, stop it. Number 2, they're talking about multiple play callers. A play caller that calls on first down, a separate play caller for second down, and then a third play caller for what are we doing? I've never even heard of such a thing.
I've never heard of that either. And maybe it's happened before. We just haven't heard about it, but it sounds really odd. Really odd.
I hate it. I hate every bit of it if I'm an Auburn fan. And then he gets asked, is there a chance to see 3 quarterbacks against Baylor? They're a dog against Baylor right now. And he says yes. What a weird statement to make.
Yeah. I would feel very uneasy if I was an Auburn fan. A lot of interesting parallels between Auburn and OU right now.
Yeah, but I will take our parallels, right? I will take the highly touted incoming transfer who's been very successful with his offensive coordinator versus the disgraced former 5-star who's trying to resuscitate his career with a coach that is willing to give him 3 different play callers.
That's weird. But
you see what I'm saying, right?
I do.
Because apparently their wide receiving room is like really
good. That's what I said. They have dudes. They have dudes at wide receiver.
I just don't know if they can get it to them.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I digress. Other injuries that I just want to put on, to me, one of the biggest ones that we're not talking about is Eli Bowen at corner.
Okay, so I've heard that he got injured in the spring and he's still in a boot.
I don't know, man. I'm hearing mixed reports on him.
That's big because he's really good, man. I mean, he showed up as a true freshman, 3-star guy, and I thought he was the best player in your entire secondary last year.
Well, we still have Gentry Williams, who we never saw at all last year.
Yeah.
We know what kind of player he can be. He's a ball hawk. Hopefully he's gotten right. That seems to be his big thing, is getting right. So hopefully he's gotten right and we can see a season from him. At the other corner, it's Devon Jordan, Jacoby Johnson. But I think it's all a placeholder for Eli Bowen if he can get better.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legit player. I mean, he's tough.
Yep.
He can stick with guys. He's a good tackler. I'm a big fan of his. And like I said, I was very, very surprised at how good he was as a true freshman last year.
Well, I thought he was great. He ended up being, well, he was our best corner.
Yeah, I thought he was the best player in the entire secondary.
You thought so?
I thought he was better than Billy Bowman last year.
Speaking of other, best players, we talked about Texas, and Texas is about their roster. Kind of the theme of their roster is reload with existing players. Are you guys reloading or are you rebuilding? We're about to find out. And then a good bunch of returning players.
We brought a few guys in from the portal at certain positions, especially at defensive tackle. But overall, we're bringing up guys that have already been there.
Oklahoma, on the other hand, the success that Brent Venables has to have from this program right now, a lot of it hinges on the portal players. Obviously, John Mateer at quarterback, we discussed it.
100%.
Jaden Ott, we've discussed. But still, he has to have a great year. And then you've got Giovanni Gibson, if he can get right. There's a lot of need for him. Then you've got from OSU.
Yeah, talented player. Been waiting on him to really show what he showed early in his career at Oklahoma State. I mean, he looked like a future NFL guy. And the last couple of years, not as good. I know he's had some injuries too. So I'm curious to see how you guys use him. Is he going to play cheetah? Is he going to play outside backer? What's the plan for him?
The anticipation that I've seen, the consensus, and it does vary, is he's going to be a cheetah. That seems to be the consensus, backed up by Kendall Dolby.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm curious how he fits in, and when it comes to the pass coverage, right? Because Kendall Dolby, we've seen him make plays. We've seen it firsthand in River.
But he's coming off of a
bad injury.
Really,
really bad injury. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see, can he be what you thought Dasan McCullough would be?
God, I wanted him to be so good, Kevin.
Yeah.
He just looked like a dude.
Oh my goodness, he looks the part.
Oh.
Yeah. He's straight out of central casting when it comes to the outside linebacker.
Oh, it's so good. And then you've got, kind of gotten lost in this mix is Marvin Jones Jr. I mean, this guy was a big-time recruit.
5-star guy.
He's played at Florida State and
Georgia. Yeah, started off at Georgia, transferred to FSU.
All indications are he's going to start opposite R. Mason Thomas.
Okay.
Do you think that BV and Miguel Chavis can unlock something with him?
You hope so. I mean, this is his last chance, right?
I think he might be a senior.
I think so. Right? If he's been at 3 schools, he's at least a junior. I think he was at Georgia for 2 years. He's at one of the schools for 2 years. So, yeah, I mean, this is your last chance, right? You've got a lot of talent. You've got the NFL bloodlines. How much do you want it, right? Because I think the talent and ability is still there. That's why he keeps getting opportunities, right? That's why he got to go to FSU from Georgia. That's why he gets to go to Oklahoma from FSU.
Was he on Florida State's good team? Or was he only on their bad team last year?
No, I thought he was on the good team, but I'm not sure. But this dude was such a big-time recruit.
I mean, when you look at the impact, though, these transfers have to have immediate and a high degree of impact, right? They have got to come in and be game changers the minute they step on the field for Oklahoma to be able to compete where I want them to compete, where I think they can compete. Because if OU staff has whiffed at any of these, it's going to leave holes in the attack.
They have to hit. These guys have to hit. Yeah, okay, so he was only on FSU's team last year. He was at Georgia the 2 years before that.
See, that's the problem. It's got to be a little hard to look at that. That team was so bad. That team was so bad last year.
It was, especially a year after going undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah.
Winning the conference and being left out of the playoff, right? So, yeah, pretty bizarre season for them. He had 4 sacks last year. Career high. He had 1 in 22, 1 in 23, 4 for FSU last year. So I don't know the context of who those sacks came against, were they in garbage time? I don't know. So obviously your coaching staff thinks that there's still something there that they can unlock. And if you're saying he's going to start, you have other talent there, right? PJ Adebawore is still there. So, obviously, if he's starting, that means they must like him over him right now. So,
I don't know if I like that. It's one of those deals, and we talked about this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm ready for PJ to put up or shut up.
It's year 3, man.
He was a 5-star recruit. He's got the talent. He's got the body. Like, are you going to be an impact player or not? And again, the grass is always greener. As Theodore Roosevelt says, comparison is the thief of joy. But if you can't compare yourself to other teams, what are we talking about? When you look at what Colin Simmons has done for you guys in 1 year, it's totally eclipsed anything we've gotten from PJ in 2 years.
Yes.
I mean, just
for sure.
Opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of production. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that because that's what you expect to see production from 5 stars.
Yes. And at this point, year 3, you're really hoping to see him put it together. Maybe not fully together, but you want to see some consistency because we all know the talent and the athleticism is there.
Let me ask you a question. At defensive end, when I think of defensive end, I'm thinking of pass rush, pass rush, pass rush.
Yes.
Okay. And beating the guy off the corner and spin moves and all the stuff that you do as a defense. I think of R. Mason Thomas. I think of Colin Simmons, whatever. What does PJ have to learn? Like, what is he not getting that's keeping him from being the kind of player or getting the reps? What does a defensive end need to know besides see ball, find ball, hit ball?
Well, number one, using your hands. In high school, he's so athletic, man. Coming out of Kansas City, he just go around any tackle he's faced. When you get to the SEC or even the Big 12, you're not going to just be able to go around most tackles. You're going to have to use some sort of technique, using your hands to be able to disengage from blockers, just learning different pass rush moves. And then also you've got to be disciplined against the run too. You can't just get upfield. So I don't know right now if it's just a technique issue. Is he only good at rushing getting after the quarterback but not stopping the run? Or is he only good at stopping the run and not able to get through? I'm not sure. I haven't heard enough, but there's something there that's keeping him off the field despite his
athletic,
freakish
prowess.
athleticism. Because this is he has rare athleticism for the position.
Look, I think the defense overall though is loaded. I love us at defensive line.
Real quick,
Go
before
ahead.
we go over to the defense, I want to ask you something about running back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, what are you hearing about Ott? Is he looking good? And how do you feel about the guys that are behind him? You've got some guys who have a lot of experience, but what are you hearing how they're fitting into this new system?
I think Jaden Ott has been used very sparingly in the fall camp. I think if he even has a tingle of anything, they are holding him out.
Okay, so he's been banged up a bit, which is understandable, right?
And I don't even know if the word is banged up or just overly cautious, which is fine. I don't care. Put him in a blue jersey, do whatever you got to do. Like, I don't want Jaden not to get hurt. But from what I understand, that's given an opportunity for Torrey Blaylock, the true freshman, to really shine. People really like this kid. As you know, I'm not thrilled with Barnes.
Yes.
I haven't been for the last 2 years. Everybody seems to think that he's going to be the second guy off in the rotation behind Ott. That does nothing for me. I do not get excited about that at all. So I'm hoping that it's a Xavier Robinson, a Taylor Tatum has figured out how to hold onto the ball. I acknowledge why Tatum wasn't playing last year because he lost the ball a lot. You can't lose the ball.
Yeah.
And that's a real deal. So if he's figured out how to hold on to the ball, I really hope to see him some more. And then if Torrey Blaylock is really the dude they say he is, let him go.
Correct. I agree. And again, when you get a new coordinator in, it becomes a clean slate for everybody. But it also means for the returning guys, you have to prove yourself all over again too.
Here's the problem though. When you talk about that, if I'm Ben Arbuckle and I walk into that room and I see Javonte Barnes, and I look at him and I go, my God, what an Adonis. That man is built to play running back. And then you go look at his stats and realize he's averaged 4 yards for barely under 4 yards for the last 4 years or whatever. It's just crazy. It's just underwhelming production for a guy that looks like he should be better.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what about Xavier Robinson? Gabe Sawchuk is still around. Have you heard anything about them?
Well, I don't think Gabe Sawchuk's a dude. I don't think he's in on it, because
Yeah,
his
he's
brother,
not.
where did Gavin? Did he go Florida State?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. Gavin Sawchuk went Florida State. And, as far as Xavier Robinson goes, we know what we saw last year.
Right.
I saw a lot of production. I saw hard running. I saw all the stuff I've been waiting to see from all of the other running backs. I hope to see that again. That's what I'm telling you. So when I looked at the depth chart and compared different websites and what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, what I've been reading, obviously it's Jay Nott. The consensus is Barnes, and that does not do it for me right now.
Okay. Maybe he's turned over a new leaf, and then maybe this new system just really works for him.
Come on. Do you think so?
No.
Okay. Well, then
You just never know. We've seen this happen before. Guys just come out of nowhere, year 4, year 5 even, and they just become a different type of player when they're in a contract year. We call this a contract year when it's his last opportunity. Also, are we even going to address the tight end position at all?
You didn't hear me bring that up, did you? I don't want to talk tight end.
Well, I mean, we're already
It's a black hole of despair, and it Will Huggins, I guess, with being backed up by Jaron Kanik. That's what it looks like in the depth chart. Caden Helms coming off a broken hand, broken thumb or something. I don't know. I don't know what to say about tight end. I have no answers, and I don't know that anybody does until we actually see something on the field.
I don't know how much tight end is even used in our local scheme as far as a receiver. So maybe you just need someone that can block.
Do we have that
I
guy?
have no idea.
See, I don't know either.
That's a great question.
Because Brower Sharp was the worst blocking tight end in the history of tight ends, at least in that scheme. Whatever that scheme was, he couldn't block to save his life.
No. And he never should have been asked to.
No. Okay, I do want to talk defense, though, because when I look at the defense, I just feel really good. Defensive line, Dominic Williams, Jaden Jackson, Grayson Halton, David Stone. That's as good a collection for defensive linemen
And I mean,
in the SEC and the country.
you mentioned Dominic Williams first. I don't even think he's going to start for y'all. I mean, he'll obviously play a ton, right? Because
I think he starts early.
I think he definitely plays early, but I think Grayson Halton and Jaden Jackson are your starters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. I think those are your.
Well, I know it's Jaden Jackson. That guy's too good.
He's really good.
They're not keeping him off the
Yeah,
field.
he was really good last year as a true freshman.
And
I like his ability to rush as a defensive tackle. I think he's an outstanding pass rusher inside.
For me, it's when you move to the second level is where I get really excited because of the dudes we have at linebacker. And it looks like it's Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie with Kendall Daniels as the cheetah. And I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to get Omasigo on the field? Sammy Omasigo when he's on there, he just pops. And I don't know how you can get somebody on the field like that. You think there's a scenario where they rotate linebackers?
I think so, yeah, because you got to get him on the field.
He's dynamic.
Yeah, correct. I'm a big fan of his.
Is the problem, is he behind Kip Lewis? Is that the problem?
I think so, yeah. I think they play the same position.
If they know that, and this is nothing against Kobe McKenzie, I hope he has a great year, but I think Omasigo's better than McKenzie. Why wouldn't they take the time to is that too much of a position change from weak to middle linebacker?
I think it might be, and then if you look at them on the roster, Omasigo's listed at 6'1", 235, and McKenzie's 6'2", 36, but McKenzie just looks bigger than him.
He does.
He looks like a middle linebacker, like an inside guy.
Yeah.
Who you want being able to take on guards and things like that more than Omasigo. You kind of want him more in space. So I think they play different positions. So
I think Omasigo could play some cheetah. I think he could back up Kip.
If these guys have been around for a while, so you would hope that at this point they're versatile enough where you can move them around.
Yeah.
Right. I think in certain packages you'll put Omasigo out there at cheetah, and then certain positions you'll put a Kendall Daniels or even a Ken Adobe if he's healthy out there at cheetah. Just based on, because if you're playing a Michigan, you want an Omasigo out there.
Yeah.
right, as a third linebacker. If you're playing, LSU or spread team, you'll want a defensive back playing at you.
Kevin, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Brown O'Haver has been with us since the beginning. Title sponsor. They are public insurance adjusters, work for the insured, not the insurance company. Typically get their clients that you have to file a claim for at your house. You want to call Brown O'Haver, 405-735-5510. Let them work for you, not the insurance company. Kevin, it's not necessarily storm season, but if you're looking to fix your roof, this is the best time to do it because roofing companies are not as busy and probably willing to work on some deals. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, John. If you're having issues with your roof, if you had a hailstorm, if you think you may have some roof damage, you got to give Pioneer Roofing a call. Show up, give you a free inspection, let you know if you have any damage, if you need to file an insurance claim, or if you don't have any damage at all, just to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call, 405-549-2712.
You heard it. Pioneer Roofing for your roof, Brown O'Haver for your insurance claim. All right, Kevin. It's where the rubber meets the road, bud. We got to pick schedules, or we got to pick the.
We got to talk about the DBs real quick.
You want to go back to the roster?
We got to go back to it, man. We got to hit the whole roster up. I'm trying to give your Sooner fans, the preview that they deserve. They want to know about all their team.
Okay. Well, real quick, Robert Spears-Jennings to me is going to be the best player in the secondary. I think he's a stud.
Okay.
I love him. The question mark is Peyton Bowen.
Yes.
Apparently he had the turf toe last year. He was also backing up Billy Bowman, who's now playing in the league. Can he be that dude? And that, to me, is the question at defensive back.
He certainly has a talent.
Right? He absolutely has a talent.
Pedigree. We've seen flashes of it, right? He forced a fumble on Quentin Ewers in the 2023 Red River Shootout, big play in that football game.
And then lurking in the, in the shadows is Michael Boganowski, who people love. Apparently he's a big hitter. Obviously he's a big hitter, has athleticism. Think he can go. You got Reggie Powers is back there. So there's options, but you want it to be Peyton Bowen, right?
Yes, you absolutely want it to be him. 5-star guy, got athleticism. It's year 3 now, right? We talked about with PJ Adebawore. Those are the 2 5-stars that you got that class. You're ready to see you're ready to see them elevate and become the starting players that they should be
in his
career.
In his freshman year, he gave us glimpses of what he can do.
Yes, absolutely.
But not just in the scheme, but special teams, just really in all facets of the game. Peyton Bowen was a stud. He wasn't asked to do too much because you did have Billy Bowman. Last year, you just kept expecting to see more, and you didn't get it from him.
Yeah, a little bit more playmaking ability.
I don't know if it was the turf toe or what was it, but he's got to step up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us expected to see his 3-star brother come in and make a faster impact. And I know he was backing up Billy Bowman, right? A lot of times you play 3 safeties.
Yeah.
Right? You play 3 safeties a lot, especially against like a team like Texas. You play 3 safeties. So, hopefully for him, this is a year where he starts to put it together, right? Because it's hopefully the sense of urgency is really coming on to him right now.
Questions in the secondary are the corner opposite Gentry Williams, and can Peyton Bowen be a star?
Right.
If the corner opposite, whether that's Eli Bowen back from injury, Jacoby, Devon Jordan, if we can kind of get some certainty at that position and Peyton Bowen can be the 5-star that we think he is, we can have a dynamic set. Our defense can be every bit as good as it was last year, and that's losing Stutzman and Bowen.
Yeah, that's.
Those guys are stud.
Yeah, they're great, but you move on. You have to. Like Texas losing Johnny Bear, I think they can still be really good on defense, right? Even with all the guys that they lose, I still expect them to be one of the best defenses in the country. That other corner, though, it's really important because right now that's who defenses are going to attack right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's whoever the other corner is, that's who we're looking at first, literally every play.
Look, I loved Jacoby there last year, and he showed us some good signs. He's got a lot of length. He's got ball skills, all the stuff. But man, I have a hard time unseeing the Missouri game.
Yeah, that fourth quarter was
The fourth quarter and the final
last
drive.
drive,
You
yeah.
talk about targeting a corner.
yeah.
They targeted Jacoby Johnson.
And that's how it is, right? Especially when you play against a good defense. It's like, hey man, we got to find a few weaknesses that are there, and we have to exploit it over and over and over. This is our best chance to win the game here. And that other cornerback, until it gets solidified, that is what defenses are going to attack.
I mean, that's the weakest spot on the defensive roster at this point,
for sure.
And there's guys that have played before Jacoby. There's guys that if they come back from injury, Eli Bowen. And then there's Devon Jordan, who is a question mark as to, is he worth the hype or is it, wishful thinking? I don't know. I think that's what we're waiting to see.
Yeah.
Can we pick the scores now? I want to pick the scores, Kevin.
Let's do it. Here we are.
August 30th, Oklahoma will kick it off against Illinois State, 5 o'clock, Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium. I will be in attendance with my brother Sam and his 3 kids that have never been to an OU game before. It will be awesome to look through the eyes of the young children as they take in all that is a game day experience at Oklahoma. So I'm excited to see that. As far as the game situation goes, this is a win, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Okay, Michigan, week 2. This is what really matters.
Okay, this is a massive football game, right? For so many reasons. Brent Venables, a lot on the line here. It's imperative that you guys get off to a good start, but they have the same thoughts with Sherrone Moore, right? So it's a huge game. They are starting. I don't know if they've named him the starter, but
I think they did.
They did. Okay. We all know who's going to be the starter, right? There's just no way you can not roll him out. To me, that's a tough spot. A true freshman quarterback having to come to Norman and play against a Brent Venables defense is going to be throwing all sorts of different looks there. I'm curious to see how what game plan they have. Are they just going to stick with their normal, we're going to run it and run it and run it?
But we just got done talking about our defensive line.
I agree.
If there's a strength to our defense, it's right up the middle.
I completely agree. But you know how coaches are, right? They say, well, this is what we do. So we're going to do it.
Well, I mean, we saw Sherrone Moore do it against Penn State, never threw the ball in the second half.
Yeah, they tried to do that against Texas last year. Right? And then
but it wasn't very effective. I mean,
no, we shut it down. We shut their whole offense. Their offense was just
their
offense was kind of like y'all's last year for different reasons, but it just never looked right at all. Michigan's offense.
They did have a really good tight end, but they don't have him anymore.
No, he's gone. He's been playing for the Chicago Bears now. So I've got OU.
I'll tell you who likes Sam. Caleb Williams likes Sam. Did you see him in those 2 drives of Caleb?
Correct.
Man, they had a rhythm. Look, dude, it's a massive game for Oklahoma, for the conference, for Brent Venables, and really for the season. It's going to set the tone for the season, regardless of how good Michigan ends up being. Okay, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's going to be happening at the time. And they've got to beat them in prime time, right? They have to do it.
You have to win that football game.
OU's a 2.5-point favorite. I got it as a win.
It's only 2.5?
Yeah, it's only 2.5.
Okay. Wow. I've got it as a win for OU because of them being a freshman quarterback. If this game was week 8, we would see. But with it being week 2, I just don't trust a true freshman quarterback on the road in prime time in front of a raucous crowd against a Brent Venables coach defense. So
I'm just not sure. I wonder if Michigan fans trust Sherrone Moore.
I don't think they do yet. How could you? I mean, look, he got the 2 wins the year they won the Natty.
3 wins.
Or 3 wins, excuse me.
3 wins.
The year they won the Natty, right? And he did a great job beating Ohio State. But, that's still...
It was still a Jim
Harbaugh's team.
Yeah.
Correct. Last year, Harbaugh's gone, and it didn't go well. It wasn't a disaster, but it didn't go well. So, yeah, it's a lot on the line with this game. I'm just so curious to see what their offensive game plan is. Also, I want to see the type of defensive game plan that they draw to slow down Mateer in your offense. This is a game we're going to know about the OU offensive line.
Absolutely.
Right? Because they're going to have a good scheme. They're going to have big, physical
defensive line. Do you think Fasusi starts against Michigan?
So. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm upset about that. I think I kind of like it.
Yeah. Put him out there, man. See what he can do.
Look, dude, I want the best player to play.
Correct.
It's pretty simple. Okay, Temple at Temple, weird.
Weird that you're playing there.
Weird. 51-3 last year, and that was an awful offense, and we still were able to dominate. Oklahoma wins.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're 3-0. We open up SEC play, hosting Auburn. We talked a lot about Auburn already. Jackson Arnold, multiple play callers, whatever the heck Hugh Freeze is doing. They've got talented wide receivers. We know they're going to be pretty good defensively. It's an SEC team, and it's an Auburn, Alabama team. They're going to be good defensively. Do you think OU gets it done?
I think you do. I think this is actually a close game, though, just because of the athletes that they have. I think Hugh Freeze will screw it up somehow.
Like he did last year by throwing the ball?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And just throwing that. And you guys had them scouted well. You guys were just all over that, quick pass that they were going to do. Drop Kip Lewis right in the coverage there. So
I just remember being so excited for Michael Hawkins with, second or third play of the game.
Run.
An electrifying run. And then to pick up the 2-point conversion when he did was so rad.
Yeah.
But outside of those two plays, I know he threw one really long pass. I can't think of even who it was through. Maybe Brandon Thompson. I don't remember. But I don't know. I think we were able to beat them last year with very little offense. I expect our offense to be better.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go with it. Kent State's a win. Okay. We know what the pick is here, but let's talk about the game from the Oklahoma, because we talked about it from the Texas side. Let's talk about it from the Oklahoma side. Just real quick. Kevin has a loss. I have a win. Funny story, Kevin. I constantly try to pick the Boomer Bevo podcast has a Twitter account. If you're on Twitter, please make sure you're following at Boomer Bevo Pod. And I'm not the most savvy social media guy in the world, but I'm always trying to come up with funny, clever, witty responses and replies, hoping to get likes and retweets, right? That's what you want.
Correct.
That's the whole point. Sometimes, though, as it turns out, the easiest thing to do is when SEC Unfiltered puts up OU going 9-3 with a loss to Texas, all you have to do is respond, OU isn't going to lose to Texas. And your timeline gets lit up by Texas fans, OU fans, other schools fans are chiming in. It's the simplest and most elegant tweet in the world, and I felt so good to send it.
Well, again, it's the greatest rivalry in college football.
Greatest rivalry in college football.
That's why we're here.
Look, I don't think this is a lock for Texas, and I don't think anybody can say that.
No, this game was never a lot. We've seen it.
And Brent Venables has he has one win.
He has one win.
Brent Venables has one win. Sark is 2-2.
Sark is 2-2. That's great.
If we can get Mateer across the finish line to this game, I just think Oklahoma's in a really good spot again.
Well, I mean, every year it should be competitive, and for the most part, it has been, other than the two Venables, games.
Quarterbackless games, yeah.
Correct. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think Texas is going to win the game by 30 like they did last year or 2 years ago. But I think Texas has the ability, and obviously we haven't seen anything from either team yet, but I think Texas has the ability to expose the weaknesses of the OU offense with the lack of the receiver position. Can they contain Mateer, right? I think they showed some things last year that give me some confidence there with how they defended mobile quarterbacks. Levitt, who can really run, kind of reminds me of Mateer out of Arizona State.
Yep.
They had a spy on him, and when he tried to leave the pocket, the spy would come down and force him to get rid of the ball quickly. But, man, you never know. The Cotton Bowl, crazy things happen. I mean, obviously, I'm picking Texas. And I do think, too, that while Venables is a great defensive coach, I think Sark has schemed some really good plays against the defense. Last year, multiple guys wide open. Ewers coming off the injury just missed him.
Yeah.
First drive, the Billy Bowman interception. We had Matthew Golden wide open, and Ewers just guided, and Bowman dives for the interception. Next drive, we have Isaiah Bond on an over route, just with nobody within 20 yards, and Ewers just throws it at his feet. Would have been a walk-in 80-yard touchdown. I think he's shown the ability to scheme guys open against Venables. I think they get the job done, but who the hell knows?
Well, I know. OU wins. Okay, so that's 6-0 for me, 5-1 for you. Going into South Carolina, have to go to South Carolina. This was the worst opening 5 minutes of football in the history of Oklahoma.
I was there actually.
Was it the worst 5 minutes, the opening 5 minutes in the history of football?
It was embarrassing. It was like
there's no other word to describe it.
Draw it up worse.
And we talked about Bauer Sharp and his inability to block. Well, not only could he not block, but he sure as heck could not block one of the best edges in the country.
And they had two.
They had two.
They had Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. And yeah, it's like, hey, why don't you block them one-on-one with our not physical tight end?
I don't think that's happening again.
Let's hope not for you.
I don't think that's happening again. And after that start, after going down 21-0, Oklahoma outgained South Carolina. Oklahoma outscored South Carolina. It wasn't dominant. We were never going to come back and win. We never had that offensive firepower. But in terms of competing with South Carolina outside of those first 5 minutes, it was competitive. Now we're adding back to it's going to be the theme for the rest of this schedule that I pick. You're just adding competency on the offensive side of the ball. And with competency tells me we're going to beat South Carolina.
Gotcha.
Now, I start to get nervous at this point. I truly believe each individual game we're picking, but to get to 7-0 is even if I did go 6-1, right? Even if I did go 6-1, I'm still a little nervous after you know what I mean? It's just hard to believe that that's going to happen, but I think I got to go with it.
Okay. I've got this as a loss for OU again.
You're going loss.
Yeah, man. I love Lenore Sellers. I think he's awesome. And I like their defense. Obviously, they lose Kyle Kennard, but Dylan Stewart's back. And I don't know if you have anyone that could block him.
Maybe not.
He's just that talented. I think he's going to be even better this year. So I think he'll be disruptive. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere there in that stadium. First, obviously Red River Shootout is crazy with the atmosphere, the shifts in momentum with the crowd. But it's going to be really your first true road game. Temple doesn't count.
Temple does not
probably
count.
have more fans than they do.
No, you'll have the experience of a hostile crowd in Texas.
Yes, but it's half hostile.
But it's half, 100%. We know what it is.
Yeah, correct. So, I think you drop two in a row here.
Okay, Ole Miss. We're hosting Ole Miss. Austin Simmons at quarterback. No more Jackson Dart. He's giving Russ a run for his money with the Giants. But again,
this is very interesting.
We had the lead at halftime last year.
Very interesting game.
We had the lead at halftime last year. I think Oklahoma might have the more talented roster now. I don't know that you would have said that last year, but I think this year
they lose some. They have a lot of questions.
They have a lot of question marks at quarterback and others.
Yeah.
I'll know more about them when we get there. But look, I think Kiffin can coach in terms of offense. I think he can dial some stuff up. I think he can put some strain on our defense. But last year, it was a very vanilla game plan. And they just kind of grinded out a win against us.
They really did.
Just because of how inept we could be. I think, again, it just happened to be turnover city. Taylor Tatum this time had most of the turnovers. I think this is a great spot for OU. If they are coming off a loss at South Carolina, they're coming home. If they're coming off a win, it's going to be a tremendous amount of momentum. I have a win for Ole Miss. Win for Oklahoma, beating Ole Miss.
I've actually got you guys winning this game too. I think it'll be close as well because I think they do have talent. And Kiffin can scheme up some just crazy, crazy plays. But I don't trust them going on the road in Norman.
Yeah.
So I've got OU winning that one.
Tennessee. At Tennessee, no more Nico Emalabea as we continue to watch that saga unfold out in UCLA. Look, Tennessee, it's the same story as Ole Miss. We stymied them. The talk about Tennessee coming in was, oh my gosh, they're going to throw the ball around the field. Look at the dynamic offense. They're running stuff. The Dylan Sampson, who's not there this year, is going to run all over you. And when he's not doing it, it's going to be Nico over the top and, da-da-da-da-da-da. Dude, same kind of thing. We shot ourselves in the foot. Not once, not twice, 3 times in the first half. Put yourself in a hole that you're not going to come out of. Did Tennessee shut it down in the second half? Oh, okay, maybe. But at the same time, they didn't do anything against us. And I don't see I don't see their offense drastically changing with the pieces they've added and taken away. Do you?
No, I mean, they got the Aguilar kid who came coincidentally from UCLA.
Yeah.
When Nico left, I just don't know what to expect from them. I just can't see them being better offensively. Now, you do have to go to Neyland.
Yeah, that's
right?
real. It's a real place.
I don't know if there's an early line on this game, if you've seen one.
No, I couldn't find one.
I just don't know what to expect from Tennessee, man. They lost a lot of good players on the defensive line, tight end, running back, obviously their quarterback. And I thought Nico would have been good this year, right? Going from year 2 to year 3.
Same system. Heupel's a good coach, the whole deal.
Yeah. You just learn and get better. I think he was out there before he was probably truly ready to go. He's just so talented, you just couldn't keep him off the field. None of that matters now because he's gone. And I don't know anything about the Aguilar kid that they got planned. So I've got you guys narrowly beating Tennessee on the road. This is a massive game, though.
Well, it's a huge.
We'll see what Tennessee is at that point. But based on what I know now.
I don't know what you're going to pick for the last 3 games, but right now you've got OU at 2 losses. I mean, if you were to give a loss to Tennessee based on what's coming in the schedule, that would make me very concerned for what you would be picking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we get to Bama. We're going to Bama. It's homecoming for Bama. It is a revenge game for Bama. They're still Alabama. I have it as a loss.
So do I. Questions, though, for Alabama, right? We don't know what we're going to see out of Ty Simpson. He was not able to beat out Jalen Milroe for the job, even though they gave him opportunities to.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, Saban benched him after the Texas game in 24, and it was 23. And Ty Simpson just didn't do anything against South Florida, right? They went right back to Milroe, and it's been Milroe's job the entire time since. Can he elevate? Can he play the style of football that Kalen DeBoer wants his quarterbacks to play?
I don't think he's Michael Penix, do you?
No. I mean, especially Michael Penix in that Texas game.
Yeah.
he was awesome, man. So that's the biggest question mark. They are set up everywhere else. They're set up at running back. They are obviously set up at receiver with Ryan Williams.
Yep.
They're set up on the offensive line. They're set up on the defense at all 3 levels. Can they get playmaking from the quarterback position? If they can, I think Alabama's a team that is squarely in the mix for a national title this year.
100%. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, though. I'll tell you what, if they lose any kind of momentum, because last year felt like momentum lost going 9-3.
Absolutely.
Especially with the loss to Oklahoma.
That one was bad. That was a horrible.
It was an awful loss. It was an awful loss. And so if they lose momentum and go and drop off another 9-3, I mean, I think the whispers already start for DeBoer if they haven't already started after that Oklahoma game.
Now, here's the thing about Alabama. We'll know before they play OU. I mean, they start off at Florida State.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to expect from them. They were brilliant 2 years ago. They were abysmal last year. ULM, they played Wisconsin. Then they go to Georgia, September 27th, right? Massive game. Vanderbilt at Missouri, Tennessee at home. They go to South Carolina. And then they play LSU the week before they play you guys. So
hopefully LSU just beats them up.
So we'll see. We'll know a lot about them by the time you guys roll out there. But as of right now, based on what I know, I will pick Alabama to win the game.
Missouri comes to Oklahoma, second to the last game of the season. Oklahoma's going to boat roll Missouri. This is a revenge game. It was a disaster what happened last year. One of the worst losses in Oklahoma history. One of the worst fumbles I've ever seen occur. It was awful. I was more mad at the end of that game than any other game last year, and there were plenty of opportunities to be mad all year, but that was the one that really hurt. Oklahoma beats Missouri next year.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna. After that game last year, I didn't even reach out to you.
God, I was
I'm
hot.
the last person you want to hear from.
I was hot last
Even
year.
though I wouldn't have been talking crap, it was horrible.
It was horrible. Do we beat them this year?
Yes,
Okay.
you did. I just don't know what they have. They lose a lot.
All right. Here's the thing. I think Oklahoma goes. Okay, so we're about to pick LSU. I think Oklahoma goes 10-2. Therefore, I have a loss against LSU because I'm going with Bama and LSU as the two losses.
Okay.
I'm a little. Do you heard Nussmeier got hurt?
I've heard something about it. I don't know exactly what it is, though.
What's the latest? Google that up while I'm talking about
Okay.
this. So if it's not LSU, it's South Carolina. Okay, so I'm kind of hedging between South Carolina and LSU. I've already picked South Carolina as a win, so I'm picking a loss at LSU. But if in a couple weeks or in the next week we find out that Nussmeier is hurt, then I want to amend my picks to say South Carolina loses and a win against LSU. Still keeping the 10-2. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, correct.
You think they lose to LSU?
I do. Yeah, I think they're going to be so explosive offensively. By the way, Nussmeier, hand injury, finger jam, his index finger.
Oh, I heard it was something on the knee.
Well, he had a knee, but apparently they say he's going to be good there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, look, I think LSU is going to be good. I think Brian Kelly.
Well, hold on, real quick. That actually might be wrong. That was actually Michael Van Buren who had that finger injury. And if you remember Michael Van Buren, he was Levy's big recruit to Mississippi State last year. He
Yes.
actually started against Texas
Yeah.
last year for them.
And he transferred to
He transferred to
LSU.
LSU with the plan of he's going to be Nussmeier's backup this year, and then next year he'll be the starting quarterback at LSU. He's a very talented player. I'm a big fan of his. That's why you guys were late on getting Hawkins, because Levy
Had the
wanted
relationship
Michael
with
Van
Van
Buren.
Buren.
That was his number one guy. He had him over Hawkins. But once Levy left, that's when Hawkins or Van Buren ended up committing to Mississippi State, and then OU
So
grabbed Hawkins.
why did he leave Mississippi State so quick? Just because it's Mississippi State and he has a
Yeah,
chance to play at
exactly.
LSU?
Yep. Yeah. It's Mississippi State. And yeah. Probably
Aren't you glad you're not a fan of a team that players literally just sign up to be a stepping stone?
Right.
I mean, players are going to leave your
Yeah,
school.
and it's so interesting because I think he just really liked Levy going into the process, because he could have gone to a lot of places. Not he was some 2-star guy that
Yeah.
Levy just identified. That happens, but no, he was 4-star guy.
Well, that's interesting. Well, so he could be pretty good then, you're telling me. If Nussmeier's hurt, he could be pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's a talented guy, and he's got some experience. You know, it's obviously going to be rough coming to Austin last year, right, going up against the Texas defense, and that was, I think, his first career start.
Well, I mean, and this is LSU going to Norman. And so, again, I'm torn between, I think, well, I know OU's going to, I know.
We just need to see how
They're going to go 10-2.
how their defense is going to be, because I think the offense is going to be
Who,
incredibly
LSU?
dynamic. Yeah, because they've got Nussmeier, they've got Caden Durham, really talented
Stud.
running back, right?
Yep.
We know they have receivers because it's LSU. They always have receivers, including former Sooner Nick Anderson
And tight end Bauer Sharp.
and Bauer Sharp. And I mean, I'm so fascinated to see what he does for them. If he balls out, which I think is a possibility, by the way, just because.
You think so?
Yes, because they're not going to ask him to do.
No, they'll split him out.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll probably be split
He's
out.
going to be running around down the field the
Yeah.
whole time, and they already have so many other guys you have to account for. So it just leaves who are you going to take out? You know, you're not going to double the tight end. You'll double Anderson and Well, two Andersons.
I am scared to death, Nick. I already said it earlier. Nick Anderson's going to ball out.
You just can't have him scoring here.
All right,
you can't have that.
You've got Oklahoma going 8-4.
Yes,
I have them at 10-2. It would be poetic justice if they went 9-3 and we were averaged out. I really think it's a little homery. I know that, but I've been pretty consistent about that. But I think I've made defensible reasons why they can get to 10-2.
Yes, it's a possibility.
There's a roadmap. There's a roadmap to 10-2.
I'll be honest with you, right? I think there's a map to 10-2. I think there's a map to 6-6.
If there's 6-6, he's fired.
100%.
I think he's fired if he only wins 8 games. I think he's going to win 9 games.
Okay. Now, state of the program, just as a whole.
Optimistic. That's the word I'm going to use. Optimistic. The program feels like there's a good energy, whether it's Nagy, whether it's Mateer and Arbuckle, just the pub and the vibe is positive right now. And I think it's making Sooner fans like me very optimistic for the season. However, there is a roadmap to go 6-6, and it makes me nervous based on the last year. There's just no way around it. You know, when you're in the 2000s and every year before it was great, then it makes you think that year that is going to be great again, and then it is, and you're validated, and so then you're thinking next year is going to be great, and it is, and you're validated, and the next year's great. Well, now that doubt's crept in, right? And so, however, optimistic. I think the program's optimistic, but look, Brent Venables is still very much on the hot seat. He has to be, and I really, unless the 8-4 looks different, I think it's got to be 9-3 for him to retain his job.
Yeah, and the thing is, it seems like, right, with Josie retiring, I'm just curious how much support Venables is going to have. And we talked about this before, and the power structure within the football program, because this general manager thing is all new.
Yep.
Right? We don't have a lot of precedent there. With Nagy there, he doesn't report to Venables, right?
Right.
So it just seems like it's in place to where if he struggles, it'll be an easy way to get him out, especially with Josie not being there. And then Arbuckle can Nagy probably be responsible for hiring the next head coach. And if the season falls apart, I think, and the offense looks good, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Arbuckle's your head coach next year.
Ugh. I don't want to go back to that, though.
You don't want to because, I mean, listen, as a Texas fan, I've gone through this.
Yeah.
Right? The 2010s was just an absolute disaster for the whole football program. 3 head coaches, right? The end of the Mac Brown era, that was a disaster. Charlie Strong's whole tenure was a disaster. Right, 7 losses every season, and then Tom Herman, he did some good things, but it was never as good.
Right.
It was never right.
Yeah.
Correct, and he was just no one liked him as a guy.
No,
right,
because he was a douche.
So you just don't want to be starting over, and especially in this era of college football with the transfer portal. If you lose your coach, there's going to be just a mass exodus, and now you're trying to rebuild your roster with the portal completely, and it just sets you back again, right?
Well, here's the thing, too. Yes, that's true, but what I meant is I don't want to go back to an offensive dominant head coach.
Okay, yeah.
I like the defensive dominant head coach. Like, to me, that's what we've got. That's your Kirby Smart. That's your Saban. That's your guys that, have
your Bob Stoops.
Your Bob Stoops. I mean, that's what we're used to seeing and having success with.
Correct. I mean,
and when we had success, even though we had tremendous success with Lincoln Riley, it just felt icky. It felt like if we don't score 60, we're not winning a game, which really wasn't a feel. It was kind of reality.
Yeah, you never really got going on that side of the ball with him as your head coach, right? He brought in Grinch, and it looked okay the first year, but it never was sustained. I mean, it looked good against Texas with Texas rolled out the worst offensive line performance I have ever seen in the history of that rivalry.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how bad they were. And you base it on that, it looked like, oh, okay, well, they might have found something here. And then it's like, nah, it's really just kind of more of the same. And some of the concepts really weren't sustainable. Once people figured it out, you never really got that going again. So I get that, the Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I just don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that. I think 90% of OU fans are really want Venables to be successible. Like we want him to be our guy.
Yeah. It's just interesting, right? Because what I look at OU, and just like you guys do, as the success that you've had for the last 20 years, remember this whole century,
yeah,
right, for the most part. And I think the roster top to bottom is not up to that standard that you guys have set for yourselves, top to bottom.
I disagree on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay. I just think top to bottom, especially on the offensive line. Now, the two freshmen, not including them in that, but, as far as the guys that are going to be playing, so I don't know. And obviously you're trying to make up for it. Bringing in Nagy, I think, was definitely a response to that. But I'm just a little bit worried with, some of the support that Brent Venables has had leaving, what that means for the future, because it seems like it's set up for the future. And I'm just curious if long-term, if you guys are seeing him as part of that and who's going to be in charge of the football program going forward. Because this Nagy thing is just interesting to me. I'm just fascinated to see how it goes.
Kevin, we've gone a little long on this. I agree with you. It is fascinating, and we are very close. Okay, so for the longtime listeners out there, we are going to be doing a live recording. I don't know if it's really live or we're going to be recording. We're going to be recording week 1 preview episode next Wednesday, August 27th at the Chicken Shack in Arcadia on Route 66 at 6:30 next Wednesday, the 27th. So if you're out there and you're listening and you've been a long-time listener or a short-time listener, come to the Chicken Shack, come for the chicken, stay for me and Kevin. Right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. If you guys want to come up to me and tell me how much you think Texas sucks, I'll be there.
Kevin will be there. If you're a Texas fan, come and support Kevin. Give your boy some love. Either way, we are going to be out there. It should be really fun. We really appreciate Ed, the owner, inviting us to do this. Should be exciting. Route 66, the Chicken Shack. If you haven't been there, Kevin knows. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
food's so good.
Great job. Yeah.
And they've got locations all over. So we're really excited to be there. And there'll be more on our social medias about that. So
yeah, 212 OK66 in Arcadia.
Yeah, it's just past Pops. If you're coming from the city, it's just past Pops. It's like 2 miles down from Pops. So
right.
Kevin, what else you got this evening? Anything?
That's it, man. I'm looking forward to the season, obviously, and looking forward to next week. Filming on location at the Chicken Shack and just previewing Texas versus Ohio State. Obviously, a massive game. And I'm nervous about it. I do feel good about it though, but I am nervous. I like our chances, but they've got some dudes. They announced their starting quarterback, Julian Sayin, who we've expected to be their starting quarterback since this competition has started, but they finally did go ahead and name it. I like the fact for them that they did it earlier too, start giving him all the reps with the first team, and they can start developing their game plan.
I've got Ohio State winning that game, but just like we talked about, Ohio State has to play their A game to beat Texas.
Yeah, I like our ability to get after him. After saying, I think if we
but you told me that they had questions at offensive line, and I'm seeing where they're returning 4 guys at offensive line versus you guys only returning 1.
Oh, well, we have bigger questions for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the.
And we'll talk about those.
And
we'll talk about those
last week too. The offensive line is my biggest holdup on the entire team. Is the offensive line. I mean, I feel good about the running back room. I feel good about the receiving room. I feel good about
Look, Arch can't win a Heisman if your offensive line sucks, Kevin.
Agreed.
And this is Heisman or bust year for him.
Well, I think you're going a little too far with that.
I think every Texas fan expects a Heisman Trophy at the end of this year. No. Would you agree with that?
No. Nice try, though. I think y'all are expecting one from Mateer, from what I'm hearing.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, Moneyline Mateer. That's what he's going to have on his trophy. You like that?
Hey, we're gonna get after him though. It's gonna be fun.
Kevin, it's fun as always. Let's bring it next week at the Chicken Shack.
Always.
Have a great evening.